Back on the Charles River again, Bill Spalding with you here on the Ivy League Digital Network. We are set for the final race of the Harvard-Radcliffe women's lightweight rowing schedule today. It is the Beanpot and Murray Cup final between Harvard-Radcliffe, MIT, and Boston University. Radcliffe ranked 5th, BU ranked 2nd. They were the national runners-up last year, and they finished 2nd at last week's Next Cup. MIT, BU, and Radcliffe all had pretty good performances in the Next Cup last week. This should be a close race. Let's run you through the lineup. We'll start at the top of your picture with Radcliffe. Coxswained by sophomore Mackenzie Parks. Junior Alana Anderson is the stroke. Josie Teal, the sophomores, in seat 7. Then it's Samantha Show in seat 6. Elizabeth Pate, the senior, in seat 5. Junior Ada Woloski in seat 4. Genevieve Shaw, a junior, in seat 3. Seat 2 belongs to Serena Blacklow. She's a junior, and senior Erin Walk sits in the bow. We have alignment, and off we go. Beanpot and Murray Cup on the line between 2nd-ranked BU, 5th-ranked Harvard-Radcliffe, and MIT. The Engineers are 1-0 in duels this season. Warner, a senior, in seat 7. Gemma Junkins-Smith, a junior, in seat 6. Lee Shaner, a senior, in seat 5. Junior Christina Fitzgerald in seat 4. Seat 3 is Camila Vasquez, a sophomore. Freshman Sarah Mayetta is in seat 2, and the bow belongs to freshman Rihanna McCormick. And then for MIT, the Engineers 1-0 in duels this year, and 7th at last week's Next Cup, just behind Radcliffe. They send out a lineup that looks like this. The Coxswain's Chloe Thacker. The stroke is Kelly Barton, seat 7. Annika Rollick. Bridget Bain in seat 6. Sharon Wu in seat 5. Priya Virgahaven in seat 4. Sylvia Sarnik in seat 3. Then it's Elizabeth Martin, and the bow is Michelle Lauer. Radcliffe at the top of your picture, BU in the middle, MIT at the bottom. Right now, a slight lead for BU. Radcliffe right behind him. Some separation back to MIT for 3rd on a beautiful day here in Boston. Temperature around 50, very little wind. Boston University, en route to its national runner-up finish last year, also did win the Beanpot last season. Matchup of these teams. They were the national runners-up at IRAs and the Eastern Sprint champions last year as well. It's like a 2 or 3 seat lead for BU, and it's Harvard-Radcliffe. MIT has already lost all 8 seats to BU and have lost about 5 seats to Radcliffe. These teams already tested their mettle against the best teams in the country last weekend, against some of the top teams from around the nation in some of the toughest conditions, just like the bad weather we had up here for men's and women's heavyweight rowing last week. There was tough weather last weekend in New Jersey as well. Terriers lead by 5 seats. Then it's Radcliffe. And you're closing in on open water back to MIT, about 2 minutes and 25 seconds in. And we've gone through about 750 meters. This BU group is pretty veteran. They do have those 2 freshmen near the bow of the boat, in the bow seat and seat number 2, but 2 seniors, a couple of juniors. About half this group was part of last year's 2nd place boat at the national championships. Closing in on the 3-minute mark, as we're about 900 meters deep, and Terriers of BU have a 7-seat lead on Radcliffe. Radcliffe won the 2nd varsity race. BU took 2nd. So it's BU, Radcliffe, and MIT 1, 2, and 3 at the midway point. Unofficial midway time of 3 minutes and 21 seconds. There was some roster turnover after last season for Harvard-Radcliffe. They had 3 seniors last year in their first varsity boat that graduated: Naomi Lang, Gabby McNeil, and Kristen Faulkner. But still a lot of experience in this group. Only 1 freshman, Sam Show, in this 8. And then you have seniors Elizabeth Pate and Erin Walk, and 3 juniors in the group as well. 8-seat lead for BU, but they haven't been able to create open water yet. Radcliffe hanging in. We'll see if they have a move here in the third 500. There is open water back to MIT for third. This margin's been pretty much locked in between BU and Harvard Radcliffe for the last 500 meters or so. Still time for a black and white surge. Sophomore coxswain Mackenzie Parks shouting out the cadence for Harvard Radcliffe. Still an 8-seat lead for second-ranked BU ahead of fifth-ranked Harvard Radcliffe. Open water back to MIT, though the engineers are staying within the video screen. It's an MIT team putting together a very good season this year. Past the MIT boathouse. Just a little tiny touch of open water now for BU ahead of Radcliffe. Trying to stretch their lead a bit further as we hit the final 500 meters to go and an unofficial time of 5:08. Terriers have had a nice, smooth, and quiet stroke throughout the course of the first 1,500 meters. Led by their coxswain, a sophomore Taylor Alex, and their stroke, a sophomore Janice Hagerman. You can pick Hagerman out by the backwards red cap while everybody else in her boat wears white. Lead still that similar margin, right on the cusp of open water for BU. Radcliffe sitting in second. It's a good race. Both these teams putting out a strong performance. MIT sitting back in third, now a couple lengths behind Radcliffe. Passing the apartment complexes with about 300 meters to go. Still, it's BU first, Radcliffe second, MIT third. And now it looks like the Terriers are in a bit of a move here, stretching their lead slightly further, trying to finish strong over the final 200 meters. BU pulling away down the stretch, the nation's #2 ranked team on their way to a Beanpot victory for the second consecutive year. Clock at 6:40 and counting into the finishing stretch. For a second straight year, Boston University takes the Beanpot and the Murray Cup as they come home in an unofficial time, closing in on 7 minutes. Unofficially 7:02 for Boston University and 7:05 for Harvard Radcliffe for second, just about 3 seconds behind. MIT finishes things off coming across at 7:15. Now, good race. Beanpot Championship and Murray Cup go to BU, the nation's #2 team, as they hold off Harvard Radcliffe, who takes second. MIT takes third. Remember, Harvard Radcliffe did win the second varsity race. Well, that wraps up our coverage of women's lightweight rowing today. Up next, we'll have 5 men's lightweight rowing races as Harvard, MIT, and Dartmouth go head-to-head. That's coming up on the Ivy League Digital Network.